All right, so Dallas next week, 3-1 after a 7-point win over San Francisco, John. Dak Prescott, huge surprise to everybody, I think, including to Dak Prescott. And Ezekiel Elliott is running the ball with great authority. And their line is formidable, too.
Well, and that is exactly it. Vontaze Burfict talked about that in the locker room today, just about. He says you could put any back there, and they could run behind that line. Prescott, though, has shown a lot of poise. They fell down 14-0 against the 49ers, led them back. I don't think he hasn't had an interception. They haven't beaten good teams. I mean, they lost to the Giants, and they beat, the Bears. They beat the 49ers, but they won. That's all that counts.
It does. You mentioned Burfict. This was pretty funny. Somebody in the Bengals locker room today went up to him, and they said, what do you think of Dak Prescott? You know, what's your opinion of Dak Prescott? And so this, and he was playing with the reporter, but this is what Burfict said when the reporter said, "What do you think of Dak Prescott?"
Who? Dak Prescott. Who? Who? No, he's a great quarterback. You know, I was a fan of him in college, and I watched a lot of their games in college, and he was a great quarterback. He makes good decisions. But like I said, we're gonna have a tough task in front of us, and we just want to let him obviously stay in the pocket, not let him get out, and obviously pass the ball out and make bad decisions like that.
They got a real problem down there in Dallas because Tony Romo will be healthy enough to play in Week 8.
Right.
Now, who knows? I mean, Dak Prescott could be a footnote by Week 8. But if this keeps up, I can't possibly see the coach wanting to take Prescott out of the starting lineup. But I could see Jerry Jones saying, Tony Romo's my guy.
Yeah, I could see that. And we talked about the impatience of the fan. You imagine what it's been like in Dallas over the years now. And all of a sudden they're starting to taste a 3-1 start. And now you're going to come back and put Tony Romo back in there. Okay, he's popular among some, but people who want to win may think, now this is the guy of the future. This is the guy we need in there.
We touched briefly on their line. That is the strength of that team, that offensive line. And the Cowboys were, I don't want to say criticized, but there were a lot of people wondering why they would spend a number 4 overall on Ezekiel Elliott when if you have that kind of line, you could probably find a running back anywhere and be able to run behind that line. But Elliott was, he's been a find for them. He really and truly has had a terrific season so far. And I'm just wondering with this Cincinnati defense that has shown a problem of stopping the other guys running attack, what that might be like on Sunday.
Well, I think that's going to be a challenge stopping the run. And anytime you have a new quarterback in there, what you want to do is rattle him in any way. So if they put all their people up front and stop that run, but at the same time in Dak Prescott, then you got to pressure him in some way.
And I'm wondering if Dez Bryant plays. He didn't play in San Francisco. He's acting kind of goofy on the sideline when I was watching the game. And but even without him, the way Prescott runs that offense, it's all underneath stuff. And he's got Witten, and he's got a bunch of guys that nobody would be able to say who's that. So they understand the limits of that offense, and it's all about the time that he has and their ability to run Ezekiel Elliott. I think the opening line on this game is Bengals +1. So it's a tight game. They're not saying that Dallas is an overwhelming favorite, but I do think Cincinnati goes down there, and they're not. If they let this thing get out of hand early, they may have trouble catching up.
Well, the fact is they have to go to New England the next week.
Yeah.
I would sure get this one out of the way and do whatever they can to make sure they show up. They have Tom Brady's debut back in New England after his suspension back there. These plays in Cleveland, I think, this week.
Yes.
So I would get this one out of the way because it'll be crazy in Foxborough.